John Bubb. I am very curious about a number of issues, one of which is why is it that President Obama and other politicians continue to refer to the notion that the free market has failed. We don't have a free market in healthcare. What we have is a big pile of government regulations and controls on the insurance, the pharmaceuticals, we have the FDA, we have bureaucracies, we have all this stuff going on, and they call that the failure of the free market. No, that's the wind-up of the bureaucracy, and we have plenty of it, and that's the failure, and that's where we need healthcare reform, is to get rid of all the bureaucracy, we need to get rid of those laws, we need to determine, we need to discover what the founding fathers knew, and that is a free market works, freedom works. There's a few other things that bother me, and I'll state one more certainly, and that is why the rush to push this thing through before anyone has had the chance to read it. We know that Congress has been passing the bailout, the stimulus. They haven't even had time to read it because it hasn't even been printed. Now, what I would like to see is for the senators and the congressmen not only to read it, but to give us about 3 months to get good and familiar with it so we can really let them know how we feel about that right. For instance, on page 429, why are they talking about the end-of-life orders from the doctor? I don't want a doctor appointed by the government to determine when I can live and when I can die. We do not want this. I think you've seen it. I appreciate you holding this meeting for us. There's a lot more openness and accountability and transparency than I have seen in a long time, and I hope we get a lot more of it. And then healthcare reform maybe could happen, but not in the way President Obama wants it to. Thank you.
John, she wants to respond directly to you.
John, I said thank you. I will take your concerns back to the senator. I don't have all the answers for what is the rush, other than we know that healthcare reform is needed. The senator strongly believes that.
It certainly is needed, but let's think about it and let's do it right.
I will pass that on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. My name is Steve Knowles. I'm a resident of downtown St. Louis, Missouri. I happen to fall on the side of government being more the problem with health care than it is the solution to health care. I want to know exactly how adding government into the picture is going to make things more efficient. Because really, truthfully, you look at other departments like the Department of Energy, for example, which basically supports oil interests. Are we just trying to create a big cartel here with government policy? I'm really concerned with the growth and the size and the scope of government, and there's no reason why, if you look at the Constitution, which Claire McCaskill is sworn to oath to defend, there's nothing in there about providing health care for everybody, period. So, I know that there's a lot of people here who have a big heart and want to see everybody have some sort of health care benefits and those sorts of things. I just don't feel that this is the way to go. Number one, letting government get involved in anything has not had good outcomes that we've seen. The size and scope of government is way too big as it is. So my direct question is, how is adding this level of supervision or oversight or regulation going to reduce health care costs when, quite honestly, you said yourself that the United States government can't keep the promises it's already made? Yeah, I mean, look at Social Security. That's going to be, I got my Social Security statement yesterday. It's going to be bankrupt by 2041. So then we add prescription drugs. Then we add Medicare and Medicaid into the picture. There ain't enough taxes to cover it. Do the math.
I will pass your concerns on, Stephen, and thank you.
Hello, Michelle. I'm Doug Ivory from Wentzville, Missouri, and a few things I'd like to say on my concerns. We have France, the UK, Sweden, Canada. All of these countries ration health care, and it's failed. It is a failed system. People die there. Drugs that are developed in this country cannot be used there because of cost reasons. People with cancer cannot get the treatment that they need. People have to wait years to get on the list to see a doctor. I don't want that for my country. I've worked too hard for the freedom that we enjoy to have that happen to my country. And while we're at it, my understanding is some of the bills, the provisions of these bills, they want to cover illegal aliens. I think that's okay? I think that's patently wrong. The other thing is they want to cover abortions. I think that we're looking at eugenics here. We're not looking at health care. And I think it's about time that the politicians got out from under their desks and got to the people and understand what our concerns are.
And that's where we're headed.
Hi, Michelle. My name is Jim Durbin. I'm a small business owner in Chesterfield, and I've actually read the entire House version of the bill. When I called in, one of the reasons we complain with the mccaskill tweets that they're reading all the time, I called into the offices during the stimulus, and I had a guy laugh when I asked him if he'd read the stimulus bill. He goes, "It's 600 pages long." Like, that was a crazy thing. So we know a lot of times they don't read, but I read through it. When I looked through, and there's 7 pages of notes I'm not going to get into, but the big thing for me is I look at this is designed to destroy the private healthcare industry. It's designed to get rid of all of it. We said that we're supposed to have our own choice, we're to keep our own healthcare, but I'm a small business owner. I pay for my own plan. When I first started, I purchased a plan that was $300 a month. And we took it with Blue Cross Blue Shield, we took it to the doctor. It was based on the Medicare plan, which means the doctor only had 7 minutes to spend with my wife when she was pregnant. So we bought the gold-plated one, which was far more expensive. That $300 a month is just about 8% of the average wage of people. And this is what bothers me, is I know what that government health care is like, and I didn't want it for my child, because we had a premium in the NICU, and I'm just thankful that we had time to catch it and take care of those issues. I could buy a Beamer with what I pay for in healthcare. I choose to because it's important to me. I never would go back to that $300 insurance. And that 8% matters because, and look at what happens. You say you can keep your insurance. I'll be able to keep mine, but I can't change it. And one of the biggest things I have is be able to go to my insurance agent and say, who's got the best premiums? Who's got the best benefits? Under the plan in the healthcare exchange, the premiums are regulated, so I can't really go lower because they're all going to be the same. The benefits are regulated. So the 2 major things I have to keep costs down for my company, the government doesn't allow. So I can keep my plan, but the costs skyrocket. It's not really the same plan. So it's not really keeping choice. And after 5 years, the plan doesn't count anymore. So we're not keeping our insurance. It's designed to end our insurance. If you're a small business owner and you don't currently pay for insurance for your employees, it's going to cost you 8% as a tax. Basically, taking the 8% that's in the bill. The problem is if you're not paying it now, the only way, let me tell you, small business owners are almost out of business. If it weren't for 2% loans from B of A and Wells Fargo, the ones that are left, and gas that's not $5, half of them would fail. I talk to them every day. We know this. It's hard to run a business, and the idea that you're going to give us 8% payroll tax even, we're going to lay off 1 in 12 workers who are small businesses, because there's no other way to stay in business. So if they pass this and they have 8% of small businesses, you can count on 1 in 12 people being laid off. There's just no room to cut. And then the final part of it is, lots of friends, my family, other people run small businesses. They pay up to 15% right now for their health care because it matters to them, and they want to take care of their employees. If they're forced with dealing with the health care exchange and dealing with the problems that come